goodness, we're back! I have a slight upgrade. Maybe if we're lucky, each subsequent upload will have something just a little bit different. Something a little bit more upgraded, more pretty. Today we have an overlay that I'm not completely satisfied with. I like it for what it is, but it wasn't quite the aesthetic that I was going for. But you know what? It's cute. It's cute for what it needs to be. And so this is what we have today. I also didn't super know what I wanted in general. This was kind of just me fiddling around. And then I finished it. I was like, well, I could use it, so I am. But today I have an entire sketch page done. I say sketch page, but it's not what I would consider myself to be my own sketches, but I don't know what else to call it because it's not finished, polished pieces either. So it's a sketch page. They are all doodles of my D&D character, Kian, from one of currently 4 active campaigns, but they're all with the same people, so they just rotate out. I'm not quite insane yet to have 4 concurrently active campaigns because I don't have the time for that, and I think I would get burnt out. As much as D&D has completely taken over my life at this point, which I do partially fault to all of these campaigns, but also Baldur's Gate 3. I can't get into Baldur's Gate right now because that's all I will talk about otherwise, but I think probably I'll be talking about it in the future. So all of these sketches are of Kian either by himself or with NPCs or other characters from the campaign. At the time of me thinking that I wanted to do this and deciding that I was going to do it, I think we were still on rotation on that one campaign. We are no longer in it anymore, but he's still my very good boy, and I still think about him very regularly, and I can't wait to come back to him. So I usually start each video, or I have been, with a really messy thumbnail, like barely anything there. It's just scribbles, it's just scratches, and it's usually like a thumbnail that I enlarged, but I wasn't even sure if I was gonna commit to a whole page of multiple doodles, and it nearly took me out. There were multiple times, specifically during the sketching phase, where I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Let me out. Please. I'm so tired. But I made it. I made it through and now we're here. Anyway, I decided I would give myself slightly cleaner sketches. The first half of the video is me giving myself cleaner sketches, but I had to give myself an in-between between the thumbnail and the clean sketch because I could not understand what my own sketches were going to convey. There was a lot of anatomy that I just said, I'll figure it out later. And then I had to come back and figure it out. But anyway, while we're doing the sketching, I need to talk about Kian. His full name is Kian Caradine. Who knows if that's how you say the name? My DM just handed me the last name, and I went, great. Okay. We got to take quizzes on which god we were assigned to, because our characters are they're called the host of a god, and it's a system specifically for this country. And the other quiz that we were given was kind of like what lineage we were from, and I ended up with the turncoat. Basically, I'm the only one who originated from one of the other 2 countries, and during a big war that happened, my character decided, you know what? I like those guys over there better. Bye. So that's That's not cute. That's not cute of him. It's kind of embarrassing for him. I'm embarrassed on his behalf, but he doesn't think anything of it. Good for him, I guess. Some basic stuff about him out of the way. He's a tiefling, which all of the lore in this campaign and all of the other campaigns really doesn't follow traditional D&D lore, so like all of the races don't. Tieflings aren't made from hell or whatever. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know very much actual D&D lore because we never follow it, but he's just a guy. He is also multi-classed into primarily bard at the moment, but also some rogue, which is unfortunate for both of us because rogue is a lot more helpful. Okay, well, no, both are good, but the thing is, during the war, he was kind of like the spy master, and the war's over now, by the way. The campaign is about like the aftermath, but during the war he was spy master, and because of that, because they've just come out of the war, he's still in the mentality of like, I have to be stealthy, I have to be quiet. And there's also not a lot of people that in the current place that we're at in the story that he can charm, that he can use his bard effects with. It's mostly rogue stuff, so whenever he wants to use spells that require materials, I either have to make up some reason why he would absolutely have a material on him, or he has to play a stupid little tune on his clarinet. Speaking of, I completely forgot to think about drawing him with his instrument in one of these doodles. I probably should have, but I mostly wanted to do sketches of him with other people, and then the other ones were just kind of filling in the space. But canonically in his background, he's an entertainer first and foremost. I haven't figured out exactly what he did, but I do know that at some point, he started getting involved in like smuggling stuff. Not people. We do not smuggle people here. But so he is very loud and friendly, and he loves to yap. He loves to hang out with people. The people that he has, like the main party, the other hosts for the other gods, he's super, super close with, to the point of where he's practically in love with all of them. He is polyamorous, because I can't stop making characters for D&D that aren't polyamorous and just try to romance as many people as possible. How else am I supposed to have fun, right? But the country that he like switch sides to isn't very polyamorous, so most of the people in that country are super monogamous, one person only, and so he's kind of sitting there with all of his best friends, sighing to himself and going, well, that's okay, I'll just kiss them platonically until they inevitably fall in love with someone. However, somehow within the first week of the campaign timeline, he scored himself 3.5 partners, three partners, and someone else came over for a kiss, which is one of the ones that I'm drawing. The only one that I'm drawing who is kissing is the one that they aren't actually partners. And I didn't draw the third partner entirely. But hey, we made it past the sketching phase. It's not halfway through the video, actually. I'm a liar. I lied to you. This is probably, the one that I'm lining right now is probably my favorite out of all of them, but a lot of them are really good. It's just that this was the first one that I did, therefore the most effort went into it. As I go up the page, the less time I spent on it, and I was ready to be done. But we're not there yet. This one is of Kian and his goddess. His goddess is Drema. She is the god of dreams. And she also has a subdomain of mind, thoughts, the brain, I guess. A lot of psychic energy. It's very fitting for the guy who has a lot of psychic abilities. It was not intentional when I was picking my classes, but I love how it turned out, and I'm very proud of him. I think I decided that in like the canon for them, she gave him those powers. Like she kind of unlocked those abilities, and that's how he went down that path. She is also the first partner that he gained, and also the one that he was not really expecting to get. She's always been very clingy and like obsessed with him a little bit. She had like a prospect of another guy that she could take as her host, but she took one look at Kian and went, but I like that one. I like that one and nobody can take it away from me. I will be taking, thank you. Even though at least one of the other gods does not like Kian. That's okay though. Kian doesn't like that god either. So we're even. She is a glaystig, which is in folklore, like actual folklore, I believe sort of like a creature that can present as a woman, a vampire, a goat legs, satyr, basically vampire goat lady. And that's what she is. He didn't really know what she wanted out of him in the end. Like, why is she so obsessed with him? Turns out she just falls in love with mortals because she can see all their dreams. And I guess seeing one's dreams makes you have a lot of empathy for that person. It makes sense. Unfortunately, most of the mortals she falls in love with don't, well, I'm sure they'll die eventually. She is a god and immortal, but a lot of them don't really want her. And I'm sorry to say that he was kind of also in the same boat. He didn't really feel like he needed her. He didn't really know what he wanted from her beyond power, beyond thinking that the gods needed to share their power. But once the host ceremony was complete, which is where the gods share a bit of their blood, and then half of their powers, their domain, gets sort of channeled into their host. The host can't really touch or access most of it, but now neither can the gods, which is what this country was going for. They don't like the gods. They don't trust the gods. It's a whole thing. So once that whole ceremony was over and he could feel her every thought and understand her inside and out, he started really learning what she wanted, which was just she wants to be loved. She can be so wet dog sometimes if like her self-confidence has been crushed, which when the majority of a country that you are trying to help foster and grow to be their best self looks at you and goes, "You're a monster," you turn into wet dog quite a lot, and I'm sorry for her. I didn't draw it, but she can also present as a man. Kian only recently learned of this, and he is pan. He is happy to have any gender, but he definitely has a preference for men or masculine people. And so he was already dating her when he found out that she has a masculine form, and when he found that out, boy was he knocked flat. Man could not speak straight for like an hour. And I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen every single time that he shows up as a man, which I love for him. It's really funny. Kian's such a silly boy. Whoopsie. I talked so much about his god that I took over everybody else. What did we miss? We missed the fact that I drew Kian and Phoenix hugging. Phoenix is partner number 2, not in terms of hierarchy or anything like that, just the second one that he managed to collect. Phoenix is another of the hosts, so he's been enamored with them for a really long time. They're also another rogue, just a rogue though, nothing else. So he loves to do fun things with them when they're on missions, and he likes to complain a lot that everybody always puts them on separate missions, like if they have to split up, which is often, because they should put the rogues together. What do you mean that's not good strategy? He also got super extra attached to them recently because prior to them becoming a thing, He watched them die. They fully died, and apparently they could have like died forever if certain parameters were not met, so that they could be revivified. So everybody clap for the strength check that was saved. But yeah, Kian is a little bit extra attached to Phoenix specifically. So it's very nice that Phoenix decided to sort of poke him and prod him and be like, hey, we can be a thing, you know. Other things that we missed was Kian's head. I drew Kian's head, and I'm currently drawing him in kind of his more of a roguish outfit, more of like in the middle of a mission. Because he's like a war hero and one of the hosts of a god, he has a cape that he usually wears, so that's what the poofy furry shoulder cape he has in most of his doodles. But that's impractical for stealth work, so I hate designing. I think we've talked about this before. I'm gonna keep bringing it up. I don't enjoy the act of designing, even though I really want to be better, but I gave him just a very simple outfit. And I drew him where he is using his psychic blades from the Soul Knife subclass. Did I talk about that? Wait, I don't even think I talked about this. His subclasses are, for Rogue, he has Soul Knife, which you get like, you get Psychic Whispers, which you can communicate telepathically with a certain number of people. You get a few other abilities, but you also get Psychic Blades, which you can just manifest to up to 2 blades of psychic energy. And for Bard, he's in the College of Whispers, which is also something sort of psychic. Anyway, I meant to mention that, but apparently I didn't. I also have a nice little head doodle, a second one. He is using his Psychic Whispers, which I didn't really know how to convey other than like his eyes are glowing with magic. I chose the color to be yellow because it's the same shade as his eyes, and I didn't know what other color to pick. And on the top left, we have Kian and Lazarus. Lazarus is someone kind of new that we just met, and not really much is known about him, except that Kian wants to beat his face in. He kind of showed up one day when Kian and his god Drema and Phoenix were out exploring, and he just started ignoring the other two and focusing on Drema and was like, oh my goodness, the god of dreams gracing me with her presence, amazing. And then he started going off about how like, hey, he would like to be your host actually. He thinks he would do a very good job at it. He is the perfect candidate. Can he be your host? Can he take over? That guy over there probably sucks. And she keeps being like, no, I can't, no. But yeah, I think it's funny that he gets to have someone that he just wants to annihilate. And I think Lazarus probably also wants to. But yeah, real quick, the very last doodle is Kian and Pluto. Pluto is one of the other player characters, and Pluto was encouraged by their god to just go up and kiss Kian because they'd been thinking about it constantly for days, and their god was tired of hearing that. And joke's on their god, now Pluto's going to be thinking about it even more. So I don't know what they were thinking, but it was a very surprise kiss for Kian. I mean, Pluto asked about it. Pluto asked, can I kiss you? But Kian wasn't expecting to be asked that because he's all my friends have rejected me to some degree, and I can't have any of them except Phoenix. Actually, this happened before Phoenix and Kian got together, I'm pretty sure. But those are all of my little doodles. I have so many more that I could do. Again, I didn't even draw Kian's third partner. I didn't draw the character that he has the biggest, fattest crush on and definitely he can't get with ever. I didn't draw any of the other gods. I didn't draw any of the other hosts. There's so many. There's so many things that have happened in like less than a week campaign timeline. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you again in 2 weeks, and I hope everyone has a very lovely day.